Hi everyone! So today I'm sharing my ideal summer capsule wardrobe for 2024 with 15 really elegant summer outfits. If I could only choose a few pieces for my rail this summer, what would they be? How can you style similar pieces together? And the style tips that I reach for that help to make the whole process of building a capsule wardrobe so much easier. So let's begin. Declutter and organise. No, it's not the most exciting part of creating your capsule wardrobe, but it is a really important starting point. It's nigh on impossible to make good choices when you're surrounded in clutter and pieces you haven't worn since the 90s. Think of it like you're creating a clean slate for the season ahead, and then you can finally see the wood for the trees again of what you actually have. Bottoms, white trousers. I don't think there are many pieces that say summer quite like a great pair of white trousers. And while I've chosen my linen ones here, any soft and floaty fabric composition would have the same effect. Now I live in the English countryside, so a lot of the time it's cold and it's pretty muddy. So once I get the white trousers out again, it really does make me think that summer has finally arrived. I would go for up to 3 main core shades for your own capsule wardrobe. Now that's not to say you can't add an accent colour here and there, but having those base tones clear in your mind from the start will really help you to create a cohesive rail by the end. And don't forget, my ideal capsule wardrobe might look very different to yours, so make sure you're choosing what's right for you and your own real life. I'm just here today to give you some handy style tips and outfit inspiration for you to make the perfect capsule wardrobe for you. Tailored shorts. While in spring I would have probably added another pair of tailored trousers, in summer I switched to tailored shorts instead. Ever one for feeling positive about the weather, I know, but I'm banking on a very hot season ahead, so I'll need them. Now this pair for me are pretty darn perfect. I love the length, I love the colour, the pleats make them feel more elegant, the high waist and that belt gives me more definition, but most importantly I just love the shape. Short shorts might be one of the big fashion trends this spring-summer, but that doesn't mean I have to join in if it doesn't suit me, and it most definitely doesn't. So I'll be taking a more classic approach for my own foundation pieces, opting for something that feels like me, whilst also being practical in the heat too. Denim shorts. And the same theory applies to my denim shorts as well. A must-have as it happens for my own summer capsule wardrobe. Now while this pair are obviously more casual, they're just so handy for dressing down some of my smarter shirts and my blouses, either for more of an everyday style or just to make a favourite high-low outfit idea. An easy style tip to feel a bit more comfortable in your denim shorts this summer would be to size up once for a slightly baggier fit. Having that little bit of extra width on your shorts at the hem gives the illusion of leaner legs. And just from a personal styling point of view, I actually really like a little bit of gathering on the shorts around the waistband. A styling quirk, I'm sure, but it makes me happy. The Co-Ord. A great Co-Ord in summer can be your capsule wardrobe's new best friend. Not only would I style these pieces together, but there's also multiple ways I will wear them with the other items on my rail. Now when shopping for Co-Ords, I would make sure you ask yourself, what else could you wear with those separates? Could you make at least 5 different outfits with each? If the answer is yes, it's probably a wise investment. The other box I've ticked with this set is a standout piece. Now your standout pieces, of which I try to add 1 in each clothing section, don't need to look or feel extravagant, far from it actually, but instead think about those items that really show off your personality, perhaps in an accent colour too, because ultimately it's those pieces that can often add that all-important missing ingredient overall. A long skirt. Now I'm sure at this point lots of you would prefer to add a midi skirt, and that would absolutely work for summer. There's definitely no right or wrong to this, but for me personally it would be something long. Long pencil shapes are an easy way to bring your wardrobe up to date, but more important than that, they suit my body shape better than a lot of midi skirts do. I prefer to opt for a high waist, so you really exaggerate that long column of colour, or no colour as it happens with my white version, and to keep my fabrics light and breathable for summer, I've gone for a 100% linen one as well. Like everything else you choose to add, keep holding those pieces up against what you've already selected on your rail just to double check that it will style in at least 4 different ways. If that happens fairly easily, you can feel reassured it's going to get lots of wear, so it's worth the space on your rail. Navy trousers. So my base shades for my summer capsule wardrobe are a timeless white, navy and pastel blue, the latter of which I'll get onto in a moment. It's very classic and it's incredibly versatile. I've added a few accent tones in here and there with sprinkles of gold, brown and khaki, but keeping that core of my base shades really tight will just give me so many more outfit ideas on a day-to-day basis. So here I've added in a pair of floaty navy trousers, bit of a go-to style for me throughout summer. If however you're more of a skirt wearer, I'd say add in another the skirt here instead. This all-important 6th and final spot for bottoms should be a repeat, but in a different tone or perhaps fabric composition of what you find you wear the most. Dresses. The day dress. An essential for my summer capsule wardrobe every year would have to be a good selection of dresses. I might not wear skirts very much, but I definitely make up for it with my love of a pretty dress or two in the heat. So having that easy day dress to hand is an absolute must for me. This beautiful organic cotton one is new in my wardrobe and I had to give it a spot on my rail. I love it. The key to getting the perfect day dress right would be comfort. Could you wear it all day? Will it keep you cool in the heat? Would it be appropriate for X, Y, and Z that your average day consists of? These are the questions I would ask yourself before making that final decision. And when you've really considered those points carefully, you'll find you reach for said piece so much more in your daily outfits. The personality dress. A little like the Co-Ord before, I do think it's important to have at least one personality piece within your dress selection too. We tend to go out a little more in summer, so I find myself using my dresses in different ways. So they have to work hard for me to tick a lot of beach to bar to dinner kind of boxes. And thinking about our holidays too, this sort of thing would be perfect to take away with me. It won't take up too much space in my suitcase, and yet it could work for the evening on its own or with a shirt over the top for something a little more relaxed. Personality pieces are of course individual to us all as well, but for me this dress feels almost vintage, like I could have borrowed it from Bianca Jagger's wardrobe in the 70s. Whichever dress just gives you that real spring in your step, I would add it here. The linen dress. Linen dresses have of course become so popular again these last couple of summers, so I would say having at least one in your own capsule wardrobe is essential. Now I've gone quite day dress with mine as that's what I need it for most, but there are so many gorgeous versions on the high street, and with the independents at the moment, you could literally find one to suit every different occasion. In fact, I love linen dresses so much that I shall happily do a bit of a style edit for you with my top 10 that I found about recently, and I'll add that into the description box below for you to take a look at the end of this video. The short dress. Now a little like trousers or skirts, feel free to edit your dress selection to obviously have more of the style you wear the most. So in my case, midi dresses would be my go-to, but I do still think it's handy to have at least one that's the opposite. I also took the opportunity to add a little bit of my favorite texture embroidery into the mix as well. Something that I think really comes into its own in summer and can add another lovely element of detail to those very simple pieces. From a styling point of view, if I'm wearing a long dress, I don't mind wearing it with heels or flats, but I rarely ever wear a short dress with heels. It's just too glam for me, and I feel much more comfortable dressing in a high-low kind of fashion. Tops, tank tops. Now I love a good tank top, so I can rarely manage to add just one into my capsule wardrobe, however small I want it to be. In fact, I'd rather sacrifice a pretty blouse than have to lose one. They're just so handy for mixing and matching within my outfits. And while I do love my basics from the likes of COS and River Island, when I spot an elevated one like this that's been made from knitted cotton, I had to add it to basket. Yes, it costs a little bit more than your average tank top, but 2 summers down and it's looking as good as new and has been worn on repeat, well then that's the sign of a perfect capsule wardrobe piece. So in addition to this one, I would go for a classic white tank and maybe something a little prettier like a camisole, or for more texture, a knitted sprinkle of gold like this one. A blouse. As I've selected quite a lot of trousers and shorts for my summer capsule wardrobe, I need a fair amount of tops to be able to mix and match with, so an essential for me would be a pretty blouse. If you're only going to add one blouse into your own wardrobe, I would go for one with a bit of detailing, or perhaps making that your statement piece within your tops. Keep an eye out for embroidery on lace trims, vintage buttons, or puff sleeves. These will all not only make the top feel more elegant and feminine, but they add that special something to the look overall. Or if you're not a fan of anything too pretty, maybe focus on the 90s minimalistic trend instead. Clean-cut tops or asymmetric necklines can add interest without having to blow the budget. A striped top. I don't wear an awful lot of print, but I would always add some sort of stripe into my own capsule wardrobe, whatever the season. They give me the feel of prints, but in a really subtle fashion, which I guess harks back to my love of effortless style and how I want my clothes to feel when I wear them. Unless you wear prints a lot and say it's the core of your own wardrobe, I would probably advise playing it safe and just adding 1 or 2 onto your rail. Bar stripes, prints aren't usually the easiest to mix and match with, and the collection of colours can feel fussy at the best of times. Play it safe and stick with 1 or 2, ideally in your base shades you've decided on, to get the maximum wear out of everything. A classic shirt. I tend to invest predominantly in classic pieces in neutral tones. I do also love following the fashion trends and adding a sprinkle of them into my outfits from time to time, but I never feel like I have to. If I'm in the mood for whimsical summer dresses and classic linen shirts, then that is what I would fill my capsule wardrobe with. You don't have to look or feel any less on trend in doing so. It's easy to make a look feel more up to date with accessories if you want to, but remembering that there are no rules and no right and wrong in fashion. It's individual, it's creative, it's experimental, and it's wholeheartedly all about you. So honestly, don't forget to wear what makes you happy. Sorry, that little waffle was meant to be about adding a classic shirt, and I've completely gone off on a tangent, but it's an important style tip to remember. Be you, everyone else is taken. Knitwear, a cotton jumper. On colder days, of which I am sure there'll be a fair few in England, I often reach for my typical summer outfit and simply layer a cotton knit over the top. It shouldn't really feel more complicated than that, to be honest. Find a knit you love in one of your key colours or neutrals and double check it will go with almost everything on your rail. In summer, I particularly like open work details like I have on the sleeve with this one. Again, it's about finding the beauty in those little things rather than feeling the need to go big and bold in your styling or your colours. It's a lovely cotton, it's beautifully made, and the sleeves give me the detail I need to feel elegant and a little more elevated, even when it insists on being cold once in a while. Cotton cardigan. Now, a cotton cardigan brings the same practicality as the jumper, but it brings a little more versatility with it. Layer over any of your dresses or your tops, or simply button it up and style it as a jumper in itself. I've opted for my base colour again of pastel blue, which I personally really love against white, navy, sat against those tan details, and I even like the shade against that ochre Co-Ord. If you, however, live somewhere particularly warm, I would perhaps skip out the knitwear and add one more bottom and a top instead. Jackets, a blazer. Now, unless you live somewhere where, say, it's 30 degrees day in, day out, I would say a blazer is always an essential for a good capsule wardrobe. They hold the power to elevate even the simplest of looks and instantly just make me feel more elegant and polished. 100% linen would be the perfect choice, and actually even more affordable. Lyocell is incredibly breathable and sustainable too. Now, this isn't a workwear wardrobe for me as I mostly work from home, but I know that I could absolutely make an office appropriate look just from having that addition of a beautifully tailored blazer. Side note, actually too, I would save a larger portion of my budget to not only get the best fit, but also the nicest quality I could afford. A beautiful blazer should last a lifetime, so it's definitely worth choosing wisely. I've added a few favourites in the description box below. Denim jacket. And on the flip side of that yin, we need a little bit of yang and a casual alternative like a denim jacket. Another favourite of mine throughout spring summer just sits so beautifully against white cottons and linens. And although it's a more casual everyday item, I've actually gone with a fairly tailored version instead. I do like those really oversized, quite distressed looking denim jackets that are making the rounds at the moment, but they probably wouldn't work so well for me with this fairly classic summer capsule wardrobe that I'm obviously in the mood for. And like we said before, that's absolutely fine. Follow your heart and your own ever-changing personal style, and that's when you'll really look your best, whatever the season. Accessories. Now, accessories of course play a big part in any good capsule wardrobe, and they can often be that finishing touch that just brings a look together. And one such accessory for me would be that insanely expensive Dior scarf that I randomly spoilt myself to. I just love it and it holds meaning for me. Shoes. I do like having a couple of pairs of sandals in my summer capsule wardrobe, as that's what I tend to reach for the most. So I've gone for something more delicate and elegant, and then something a little bit more sturdy for walking around in that also happens to be a bit more trend-led as well. Trainers are an absolute essential for me too, and although they're not open-toed in the heat obviously, that's sadly not something we always have to think about in the UK. And then a very French feeling pair of low heels. These ones are in one of my accent colours of tan, and the braided detailing adds interest while feeling a little bit more summery at the same time. I've also added a 10 belt in that accent tone again, and a pair of statement sunglasses are a must. Not necessarily because it will be so sunny I need them, but I do love the fact that sunnies can hide a multitude of sins when you're not looking your best. You just look mysteriously chic when actually you're just trying to hide your very tired looking eyes. And handbags of course can quite literally make an outfit, and a bit like a beautifully tailored blazer, I would advise saving your pennies for the bag you really want rather than going on several whims buying bags that barely get their wear, and as it happens falling apart pretty soon afterwards. Something structured like a classic tote, a straw bag to bring in that different element of something more natural to feel really summery, and if you feel the need, introduce an accent tone with an extra handbag to finish. And that's it, my ideal summer capsule wardrobe for 2024. What I would have on my rail, how I would style it together, and the style tips I reach for to make those outfits not only feel effortless, but really put together and elegant at the same time. I really hope you've enjoyed today's edition, and don't forget to subscribe for more styling videos like this. And if you've got a like to spare, well then that would be very much appreciated too. Have a wonderful week everyone. I will see you again on Sunday. Take care.